God bless you. My name is Pastor Harris Kakalides, and you're watching and hearing the program Getting to Know Jesus. You know that these programs, besides being educational, besides me wanting to teach you guys the Bible, I also want to be able to teach you the truth from lies, and we're going to expose false religion for what they are. There is a group out there, they started a little bit after the Reformation, and they're called the Jesuits, or the Society of Jesus, and they have nothing to do with Jesus. This is something that was invented by the Roman Catholic Church to kill Protestants, Protestant leaders, and even kings and so forth. But I just want to quote a little bit what Charles Spurgeon had to say about them, and then I want to quote two other people in church history that spoke about them, and then I'll quote a little bit of their oath, and we will see how satanic they are. Charles Spurgeon warned his church time after time to watch out for them. In Sunday morning, September 30th, 1888, he said this: "In the next place, suppose the church at large should decline to a spiritual death, and I am sure it does so just now. What then the faults, which are now so apparent, may only be the beginning of worse evils. Brethren are prophesying that the Jesuits will ruin us, and others that rationalism will eat out the heart of the church. I think both of these sects of prophets have a good deal to say for themselves. The signs of the times are much with them." He also stated on Sunday morning, April 19th, 1868, Spurgeon said as well, "Many in these days are good at painting ugly pictures and believing them to be reality, but I believe my text, namely that Jesus must reign. Therefore I do not fear the Pope or the devil. All the driveling priests of Rome with their Jesuitical tricks shall find their master, for hell itself cannot shake that decree. He must reign." It's talking about Jesus. Jesus must reign. "Jesuits, you say, are creeping in unaware. I know it, but behold, we shall tread upon the lion and the dragon. Yes, the young lion and the dragon shall be trampled under our feet." So Charles Spurgeon warned his church against this group. Dr. John Tilson, he was from 1630 to 1694. He was the late Archbishop of Canterbury, once said about this group: "Whereas the way to heaven lies plain and straight before us, consisting in simplicity of belief and in holiness and innocency of life, but that there are great differences in the Church of Rome between the secular priests and the regular, between the Jesuits and the Jesuits, but they still unite in a common interest and are all subject to antichrist, their common head." So you might say, well, why are these people talking so much about the Jesuit priests? They don't seem to be that bad. Well, they are. If you would look up in the internet, in PDF form, you can find the extreme oath of the Jesuits, and it's pretty scary. I'm going to read some of their oath, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm going to just read the part the scary part of it. I'm going to quote them right now. "I furthermore promise and declare that I will, when opportunity presents, make and wage relentless war, secretly or openly, against all heretics, Protestants and liberals, as I am directed to do, to expurgate and exterminate them from the face of the whole earth, and that I will spare neither age, sex, or condition, and that I will hang, waste, boil, flay, strangle, and bury alive these infamous heretics, rip up their stomachs and wombs of their women, and crush their infants' heads against the walls, in order to annihilate forever their execrable race, that when the same cannot be done openly, I will secretly use the poisonous cup, the strangling cord, the steel of the poniard, or the leaded bullet, regardless of the honor, rank, deity, and authority of the person or persons, whatever may be their conditions in life, either public or private, as I at any time may be directed so to do by any agent of the Pope or the Superior of the Brotherhood of the Holy Faith of the Society of Jesus. Close quote. This is part of their quotation of their oath, which is very scary. They have a name that lives. They call themselves the Society of Jesus, but they had nothing to do with Jesus. We as Christians, we need to expose what is fake to what is true. In the 1800s, there was a man called Chenique Charles. He states the following. He wrote a book named 50 Years in the Church of Rome. He was a former priest. He states this: with what supreme distress, disgust, and surprise we see today a great part of the noble Episcopal Church of England struck by a plague which seems incurable, under the name of Posaism and Ritualism, bringing again more or less openly in many places the diabolical and filthy ocular confession among the Protestants of England, Australia, and America. The Episcopal Church is doomed to perish in that dark and stringy pool of popery, ocular confession, if she does not find a prompt remedy to stop the plague brought by the disgusted Jesuits, who are at work everywhere to poison and enslave her to unsuspecting daughters and sons. The Jesuits, since they're coming from the Reformation, they have been totally on one purpose, and that's to destroy the Protestant church. And as a Christian and a Protestant, I'm saying we have to, as Christians, we have to know where the truth lies. And the truth lies in the Bible, the Holy Bible. We have to believe in the Bible. We have to read the Word. We cannot be led poisoned by the antichrist. I just want to read one verse. Revelation 3 verse 1. And unto the angel of the church in Sardis write, these things saith he that hath 7 spirits of God and the 7 stars. I know thy works, and thou hast a name that thou livest, and art dead. This is a group that has a name, which is alive, Society of Jesus, but they are not of his, they are dead. These are those who would say, Lord, Lord, and Jesus would say, I never knew you, as Matthew 7 states. God bless you, and you're watching here in the program, Getting to Know Jesus.